This video and hundreds more like it available on freephotoshopvideotutorials.com. In this video, we're going to learn about snapshots, which allows us to create multiple versions of the same image so that we compare before and after. Now, this won't allow us to just do one before and an after. It'll just allow us to do a whole bunch of, for example, 6 different versions of the same file. You can click through which one you like the best and save that one. So I'll show you how we do this right now, and I'll show you with this image here and with the example of actually cropping an image. So I'm going to actually be cropping here with a rectangular marquee tool here. This is just my personal choice here. And just a brief overview here of how we actually get to the whole snapshot thing. Well, we get this, the snapshot is tied into the history. It's a different state of histories. So we're going to go into our history palette here. If you don't have that open here, we just go to Window and History to bring that up. And as you can see here, by default, Photoshop will automatically create a snapshot of the image as you open it. So here we have a snapshot here. It says snapshots.jpg, which is the name of this file. This is actually a snapshot here. So if we ever needed to go back to original image, all we have to do is click here. And to create different snapshots of our image, all we need to do is this icon here at the bottom here that will say Create New Snapshot. Now, what this allows us to do is save different states of history, right, of the history state as the image is. So for example, this is our original image, and I want to try out different crops to see which one works the best for this image. So I'll create here a square crop, for example, using the shift and click and drag. I'm going to go ahead and image and crop. Okay, and I'm going to bring up our history palette here. We've done these things here to this image. I've cropped it. And now I'm going to create here the new snapshot, and I can double click to rename it. By default, it'll just be snapshot 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so forth. I'm going to double click here in the name and name this as square, for example. So we have our square crop. Now I can go back here to the original one. Remember, this is the as we open the image. So there we are, the original one. And I'm just going to close this here and create a different crop here. I'm going to create a crop that is just the people here and without the dog. So it's just the people. So I'm going to go ahead and image and crop. Deselect here. And I am again going to go ahead and create a new snapshot. This one I'm just going to rename as people. And as you can see here, we have our original one, the square one, and the just people one, for example. So this is, as I'm hoping this is actually starting to actually bring up some ideas in you, is that you can actually create multiple versions of an image, right? And completely compare so that you can actually see, if you like an image a certain way better than before. For example, in the way that we're actually using crops here, there's no way to actually compare crops essentially side by side or switch between crops unless we cropped our image and then saved that crop and then went back and we're going to name this here differently, more of a wider angle here. So here we have the square, the people one, and the wide, the original. So as you can see, you can compare all these things, and the only way you'd actually be able to do this without the snapshots is to actually, like as I was saying, just save different versions of that, have them all open in your monitor, and compare which one you like the best. In this way, you can compare them right there and then without actually having to do much at all in the way of actually doing all these savings and so forth. The only caveat as with everything in the history palette, is that whatever you do doesn't actually get saved if you close the image down, right? So as you're probably familiar here with the history palette, all these things here, you can save the image. It's perfectly fine. As you open it up, you won't be able to undo. You won't be able to go back into your history states because that doesn't get saved, right? History is very temporary. In the same way your snapshots are, right? So what you actually have to do is select what version, for example, of these crops I like the most. Let's say I like the square one. Then I can save the image the next time I open it. The only history state that will be the square one, and that's it. We would have essentially lost different snapshots that we had here. It's a very temporary thing, but like I said, it's very good to just compare different things. Or when you're going to embark into something that's a little bit more complicated, that would actually involve using up all your history states. If you're gonna, do a lot of changes, for example, if you're going to remove the dog here and change hair colors and do a whole bunch of things, but you're not too sure if that's what you really want. You just want to see what that looks like, but be able to go back in and to a certain point in your image, that's when it's really useful to create a snapshot of your image as it stands before you embark on doing these changes. Do the change, save that snapshot, and then compare before and after, right? So it's a very good way to actually be comparing things, make that choice, and then save your image. But always remember it's temporary, and you won't be able to save all these states unless you go back in and save the image in this one here, then save it again, in this one, save it, and so forth. If you enjoyed this video, show your support by subscribing, rating, and adding it to favorites. Leave comments on our website and we'll create even more videos that interest you.